let me bring in my guests. I've got with me Mustafa Al-Mansour. I've also got son Kaur as well, who was on the ground at Grenfell representing United SIKHS, and Mustafa also was a volunteer there. And son, tell me a little bit about, what your organisation did on the ground.
Yeah, morning, Nomia. Thank you for, first of all, having us on the programme today. And yes, a year on, the year has gone so fast. This morning when I woke up, I was reflecting and thinking to myself that, last year in 2017, our team was, getting ready to get into London. It's the work that we do at United SIKHS. We're a humanitarian aid organisation, and our work is to, be providing support during a natural crisis or a man-made disaster. Our objective now is to save lives and elevate suffering. And, during our experiences, we go to third world countries and we're providing aid and support there. And when I thought of, we're about to go into London, into Grenfell, to be providing aid, I thought everything will be quite simple because we have the structures here in the UK to kind of handle these sort of situations. But once I arrived in Grenfell with our team, that's when I really thought, actually, this is a disaster. The coordination, there was no sort of civil or governmental agencies assisting us on the ground. And that's when it did really hit me that there's a lot of work to be done here. It was very overwhelming as well to see how the communities, from all faiths and backgrounds had actually got together to form a human chain and provide support in any way possible. Us as an organisation, we decided that obviously this tower has set on fire, and you have to think that, if there will be any survivors, and if there are any survivors, they will be running out of this tower with literally nothing. And we thought, how will they then get in touch with their families if, say, for instance, we're in the digital era now, and if they have no chargers and their phones are dying, families are wanting to get in touch with them. So what United SIKHS managed to do is provide power banks to charge their phones. So on arrival, this is the first thing that we distributed to many people who had come out of the towers with nothing, because, when your house is on fire, what do you first of all grab? You're in panic. So, getting there and starting to set up sort of our hub. And the beauty, again, of the Sikh community is that it's a community of resilience. And we're very, there's a lot of courage in the community, and, with having the local Sikh gurdwaras, similar to the mosques, as a hub to provide aid, and even prepare hot meals, straight away.
And I think that's what really struck me when I was there, is just the way you had communities, people from all different faiths, really working together. And come back to you, son. We talked a little bit about the great work that United SIKHS did, one of many organisations on the ground, and in the beginning, there is so much that's needed, isn't there? There was so much food and money. A year on, that demand, is it still there? What sort of work are you doing, if you're doing anything, a year on?
So I think, at that point in time of crisis, there was an overflow of aid that was being received. I remember going to the Westway Sports Centre, one of the main hubs, and, clothing and food, it was overflowing out of the building. So I think in regard to sort of goods, that's something that is, the arrangement has been made. But I think what's now important is, how do we mend these broken hearts? There's been many people who've psychologically been affected by what's happened, during the Grenfell Towers, and that's not just the families, but also the neighbourhood. I recall one of the evenings walking back to my car, and there was a girl in the local borough who was, walking with me, and then all of a sudden she just completely broke in front of me, and she said, "I can't sleep at night because every time I'm trying to sleep, all I can hear is the screams that were happening across the road in the towers." So, this is another angle of work that now needs to really be looked into, and I admire Nabil's courage, for him to be able to say that we should never question faith, and what's meant to be is meant to be. But again, how are we going to now, mend these broken hearts? People have lost their homes, and most importantly, that their families and their loved ones, they didn't plan, not to be able to see their mom or their dad or their children. And how do we kind of work on that angle, as well as, receiving justice from this inquiry? And that's, something we should really begin to highlight. People are really broken. I remember also when we were providing aid, we were actually going out to the hotels to provide hot food. And there was a lady in a wheelchair who was actually taken out, and she even said to me, when the fire was happening, she was saying to her kids, "Leave, just leave, I'll be okay, I'll be fine." And the firefighters, they managed to get her out just in time. So she's in a real state of shock that at one point she thought she would never see her children again, and then all of a sudden she's reunited with them. So there's been a lot of emotional stories, and I again, just touching upon that topic, that ministers and officials, yes, they came to visit, but I think it was really important that they sat down with some of these families just to hear these stories and actually think, wow, this actually happened.
Mustafa, can I just pick up on that point? Really, really important point that Sun made there about the mental aspect of all this. Because we know what people have physically lost, but mentally, what kind of support is there? And to help people. I've got with me son Kaur, who was there on the ground representing United Sikhs, and just remind us again, son, the kind of work that you did and the kind of work that you continue to do.
Yeah, so the United Sikhs as an organisation, we provide humanitarian aid across the globe for natural disasters and man-made disasters, and our objective is to save lives and elevate suffering in communities. And during Grenfell Tower, I found this was like a great duty of responsibility on our team to be able to provide aid on ground, as well as hot meals, and just talking about faith and communities. And I think during the incidents last year, faith had really become a shield for the community, a central hub for people to approach, and it was really nice to build new friendships with the local community at Grenfell. There's still lots going on. The Sikh community, I said earlier as well, are a resilient community when it comes to providing aid, because we have obviously our gurdwaras where hot meals were being prepared every day, just in time for obviously iftar and when the communities are breaking for their fast. And it's just been, although our hearts are, and emotions are really kind of building today with it being a year on, we also have to reflect back and think, wow, as a community, we were able to, become united and become one force.
And really come together and do.
Come together.
The work that was done by organisations on the ground was amazing. Let me. I've still got with me Mustafa Al-Mansur, also Yasmin Kalish. That you're hearing there is son Kaur, who's with United Sikhs, and